Catalogs are a level above manifests. Manifests can belong to one or more catalogs, and Automata Deploy Pro includes two catalogs, production and testing. Production catalogs should include the application version and manifests that are being deployed to your actual end users, while testing catalogs would include the application version that you're testing within IT and manifests that are going to be used by internal testers or test machines. Now, the way that we can edit our catalogs inside the Automata Deploy software portal catalog here is by clicking on one of your manifests, like executive staff, for example, and clicking Edit Catalogs. And you can have it either be part of testing and production, or just testing. And it's just a checkbox here to make those updates. And I'll explain a little bit more when we get into version control, what the point is of having both testing and production catalogs. But for right now, whenever you're going to create a new manifest, you need to make sure that it's either part of the testing catalog, the production catalog, or both. Large organizations with a lot of diverse applications may want to test new versions in their environment prior to approving them in the production catalog. Now, in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to build a test Mac to use for this testing purpose. So we begin by creating a new manifest. And we'll go ahead and hit New Manifest here, and we're going to call this one test_max, and we're going to just assign it to be part of the testing catalog. And we'll go ahead and say New Manifest here. All right, we've got a brand new clean manifest, and it's called Test Max, and it's part of the testing catalog. So what we need to do first is deploy this to a test machine. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Deploy Manifests. I'm going to copy this to the clipboard. We'll switch over to my test Mac. We'll paste that to run as administrator, and we'll go ahead and authenticate. And that change has been made. So now we've got this machine here set up as our test Mac. And now we've got a test Mac ready to go for testing purposes. So now that we've got a test machine ready to go and we have a Test Max manifest, it's time to start using version control. Automata Deploy Pro puts version control in the hands of you, the system administrator. Enforcing the latest version or ensuring that all of your Mac endpoints are running the same version of an application is often critical for IT security. For this demonstration, we're just going to go through how you can enforce the latest version of an application in your environment by testing it out, making sure that it's working, and then setting up in your production environment. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start by being in our Test Max manifest here. And we're going to test a new application. And in this case, it's going to be this audio program called Audacity. So what I want to do here is go ahead and click on the Install button, because we're going to install this to all of our devices. But with Automata Deploy Pro, I also need to identify what version we're actually going to push out in our environment. Let's go ahead and do that. So to select the version we want to deploy, we're going to go ahead and click on the version number here, and it's going to spawn a new tab. Now I want to point out here, if you get a pop-up window that blocks, and sometimes Safari or Chrome or Edge may block a pop-up, the easiest way to get around that is to just go ahead and allow pop-ups from automata-tech.com. And to do that in Safari, you just go up to Safari here, and you go to Settings, and you go to Websites, and when you scroll down here, you'll see pop-up windows. Select that. You'll see catalog.automatatech.com and just switch it to Allow. That way you'll have no problems opening up new tabs. So anyway, getting back to this, what you want to do here with the version is you'll see a list of every version that we've actually packaged, going back several versions here, it looks like, almost a year's worth of updates. And we'll purge those from time to time, but in general we try to keep the last 5-6 versions out there. Now if you take a look at this, you'll see we have testing and production. Now this identifies the catalog that these versions are part of. So right now you'll see that the production boxes are all unchecked. That means we're not actually putting any Audacity version in production, which means that even if we have the box checked inside our manifest, if we haven't identified a production version, there won't be anything to install. So if we're actually installing this into production, we need to have at least one version checked in production. And if we're testing, we need to make sure that we have at least one box checked in testing. And like what we're going to do first is we're going to test this out. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and check the most recent version. Now, here's the thing. These can all be checked, or just one of them can be checked. But it's always going to default to installing the latest version that's checked, or the highest version that's checked. So I'm going to go ahead and check this box, which means that we're going to be deploying version 3.7.4.0. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And we're only going to deploy it to our testing devices. So in this case, the testing manifest for TestMax. So we'll go ahead and save the catalog here. And we'll close out of that. And I don't think I saved the manifest, so let me do that here real quick. So now we are deploying the latest version of Audacity to our TestMax, but we're not deploying it into production yet. So let's go ahead and switch over to our test machine here and run the Automata Software Center, and we'll just force a manual sync here. And you'll see it's receiving the testing catalog, and it's grabbing a copy of Audacity here. And it shows that it's ready to install. So we'll go ahead and click Update and let it install. All right, looks like it is done. Let's go ahead and close out of this. And let's go ahead and see if it's in our Applications folder. And there it is right here. Let's go ahead and open it up and make sure it actually works in our environment. All right, go ahead and close out of that. And at this point, I can go ahead and test this out and make sure that it works. Maybe record a couple of audio clips, do a little editing, just to make sure that it looks like the application is functioning properly. We don't have any errors, no weird dialog boxes or any other issues. So it looks like we're probably pretty good to go ahead and deploy this into production. So let's go ahead and go back to the Automata software portal here. And we're going to go ahead and click on this. And we're going to switch catalogs. Let's go ahead and add this version to production. So I'm going to go ahead and now add it to our production catalog, and we'll save it. And now I can go to my site default here, and I can actually make Audacity a requirement. Once I save the manifest here, we'll be deploying Audacity automatically to all of our machines at the latest version that we've just tested. So you can do this with every single application, testing them out first with the testing catalog on a test machine. And then once you're sure that it's working just fine, you can check the box for the production catalog, and then it will go ahead and deploy to your production machines as well. So that's how we do version control and testing with Automata Deploy Pro.